Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my July TBR. So in the month of July, I have 6 books that I want to try and get to, and 3 of those are buddy reads. Hopefully I can get to all of them. But before we go ahead and get on into the TBR, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box for links to all of my social media, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways. The first book on my July TBR is Merlin by Stephen R. Lawhead. So every single month, one of my patrons is chosen at random to pick a book off of my physical TBR for me to read and review. And Steve from Steve Talks About Books and Stuff, by the way, subscribe to him. He has a really good channel. In fact, he is constantly reading all of these books that I've never heard of, a lot of independent stuff, and he does a ton of author interviews, so subscribe. But he chose Merlin, and this is book 2 in the Pendragon cycle. And it's kind of funny because when I was making my fantasy series that I need to finish video, I actually had this series on there and I forgot to talk about it. And this book is actually in the thumbnail. So this is a book I need to finish. There are 5 books total in the series, but I think the first 3 are the main trilogy, and that's what I have. But I read Taliesin book 1 a couple of years ago, and it's basically an Arthurian, I don't want to say retelling, but it's an Arthurian story, and it's basically as authentic as you can get. Stephen R. Lawhead does a ton of historical research for his books to try and make them authentic, but then you do have that myth and the magic interwoven into it. And in this book, we're following Merlin, and Merlin is the son of a druid and a princess of Atlantis, and his entire reason for existence is to bring in the era of King Arthur's reign. I loved being in this world in book 1, and I'm definitely excited to read about Merlin's origin story and continue it on into Arthur, which is book 3. So thank you so much, Steve, for choosing this book. The next book I plan on getting to is Arm of the Sphinx by Josiah Bancroft. This is book 2 in the Books of Babel series, and my library does have this available on audio, which is why I decided to continue. I listened to part of book 1 on audio, and I ended up enjoying the audio, so I'm going to try and continue with that. But I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about this book because I talk about it a lot. But we are continuing our story of Thomas Sunlin, who goes with his wife to the Tower of Babel for a vacation. She goes missing, and he spends the whole book trying to find her. And at the end of the book 1, we are introduced to a new Sunlin, and he is kind of like a pirate now, and he has an airship, and his journey to uncover what happened to his wife continues. But we got introduced to a lot of cool, funny characters in book 1 that are now part of Sunlin's kind of like crew. So I'm excited to be back in this world and see what happens and get to the second installment. Next, I'm including Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. This is a YA Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I've been finding that I'm getting a little bit burned out on fantasy. This does tend to happen to me every year, so I've been trying to break it up with different genres and shorter books. So I decided to go with Bookish and the Beast for this one. And in this book, we are following a character named Rosie, and she lives in kind of small town USA. And then we're following another main character, the male, I can't remember his name, who is a Hollywood star. And some sort of rumor is surrounding this Hollywood star, and in order to run from it and get away from the paparazzi and the publicity, he runs to this small town where Rosie lives, and their paths kind of cross. This book is not even 300 pages. I've never read anything by Ashley Poston, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm sure it'll be short and sweet and cute, and it'll just be something to break up all of the heavy fantasy that I have. And Beauty and the Beast is my favorite fairy tale, so I'm always curious to read more retellings. The next 3 books are all buddy reads. So the first one is the Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury, and this was the book that was chosen by my patrons. Every single month they get to vote on a book that they want to read together as a group, and this is a 1950s science fiction story, and it follows a group of settlers that came from Earth to settle on Mars, and it basically chronicles their time settling. And on Mars there actually is a indigenous Martian race and our humans come into contact with them. I've heard a lot of good things about this. I've had some people comment saying that they absolutely love this book. So if you're interested in buddy reading along with us, then check down in the description box for the link to the Buddy Read Discord and definitely join us. I've had a lot of people join, say that they are really interested in reading this, so I'm excited to get to it. I love Ray Bradbury. Fahrenheit 451 is one of my favorite books of all time, so hopefully this one will also make the list of some of my favorite classic sci-fis. Next, I am buddy reading The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is a reread for me. This is book 1 in the Gentleman Bastard series, and I have read all the books that are published up until this point. But if you don't know what this is about, this book follows an orphan named Locke, and he basically runs a gang of people that go around conning nobles. And he is incredibly intelligent and clever, and the cons that they pull off, the heists that they pull off, are just so cool and so intricate. It's hilarious. And this book is built in with a lot of flashbacks. So while we are reading about present day Locke and everything that he's involved in, there are a lot of flashbacks to his childhood and how he grew up to become such a master con artist, because he is just a master con artist. And the reason that I love this book so much is just the humor, the friendship, the mentor figure in this is awesome, as well as just how well done the plot is. And also, I really love Locke as a character, so I'm super excited to be back in this world, and I can't wait to buddy read it with everybody. And lastly, I'm going to be reading Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. This is book 1 in the Tawnyman trilogy, and I am also hosting a read-along with several other booktubers about this trilogy. So if you're interested in joining with us, then once again, check the description box below for more information. This is book 1, obviously, but we just finished Live Ship Traders a couple weeks ago, and I cannot wait to be back in this world. So in this world, we're following Fitz and the Fool about 15 years after the events of the Farseer trilogy, and the heir to the throne has gone missing. Obviously, we know that's Fitz's family because Fitz is noble, and he and the Fool set out to find what's going on. And I'm excited because one of my favorite parts of the Farseer trilogy was the Fool and his relationship with Fitz. I just loved the Fool's wit. I loved how mysterious he was. I loved how he was constantly trying to impart wisdom to Fitz, and Fitz didn't want to always hear it. I'm also interested to see how Fitz is going to behave now that he is older and not so much as like a young adult that we were following in the original trilogy. I'm hoping that he's matured some and maybe makes some better decisions. And yeah, I'm really excited to start this trilogy. All right, you guys, so that is it for the 6 books that I'm going to be reading in July. Let me know in the comments some of the books that you're going to be reading, what your TBR looks like. Also, if you have read any of these, what you thought about them, or even if you're interested in joining in on any of the buddy reads, because we got 3 awesome buddy reads. All right, I will see you all soon in another video. Goodbye.